Of the Eurozone countries still in marathon talks this morning in Brussels as they try to reach a deal to avoid Greece running out of money. They've been talking all night and it's still going on.
What is it, 16 hours I think it's coming up to. Steph's going to be talking about the sticking points, of which there are obviously quite a lot. Morning.
Meetings are bad enough, but could you imagine being in one for 16 hours?
No!
I don't even know how they're keeping awake. That
I agree.
Be very, very hard. Anyway, morning everyone. It's Groundhog Day again for the Eurozone leaders who still haven't decided what they're going to do about Greece. But while they continue their emergency summit, the Greek economy is coming to a standstill. The banks are running out of cash and the people there are worried about how they're going to continue getting supplies into the country when they're not able to pay for them. Well, with me now is Schick from Open Europe, which campaigns for reform of the European Union. Good morning to you, Nina.
Morning.
So we know they've been locked in talks for 16 hours. What's been happening?
Well, essentially what we've seen over this weekend is an 11th hour reprieve from Greece from being kicked out of the Eurozone. Yesterday could have been the Grexit summit, and indeed all 28 leaders were called to Brussels. Last minute that was called off, and only the Eurozone leaders are still meeting. What is on the table now is what Greece has to do in order for talks for a third bailout program to even begin. And those are very, very tough conditions in the proposals that we've seen so far, far-reaching reforms, which is essentially what the Greek people rejected in their referendum only last week. But it's clear that if they want to stay in the Eurozone, they're going to have to do this. And Tsipras, the Greek Prime Minister, has to get it through his parliament by Wednesday in order for the creditors to even be willing to talk about more money.
So what's the difference between what's being discussed now compared to what was voted for in the referendum? Has it changed much, the terms of this potential deal?
Well, that is the biggest irony here, because essentially by holding that referendum, Tsipras was saying to his people, you know, you can reject austerity, you can reject these harsh conditions that are being demanded of us. However, the Eurozone all along was saying, if you want to stay in the Euro, you're going to have to put up with these terms, so you can't reject austerity. What's happened since then is Tsipras has gone back to the rest of the Eurozone and said, OK, now we are willing to surrender to the conditions that you need. So you can understand why the rest of the European leaders are pretty angry with him and saying, what was the point of holding the referendum if in the end you're going to come back, ask for more money and agree to our conditions, which is why they're being very hard on them right now.
So still stuff to decide. When is it really crunch time? Because I feel like I'm saying that every week. Yesterday was a deadline and then, oh, it's been extended again. When does it really matter?
Well, I think, you know, as we've seen for the past 5 months, the deadlines keep on being extended. One date to watch out for, however, is the 20th of July. That is when Greece has a big repayment due to the European Central Bank, 3.5 million. And if it doesn't make that payment, it's likely that the European Central Bank, if it already hasn't done so by then, will cut off its emergency liquidity, which is the only thing propping up Greek banks at the moment.
So the 20th of July, that's the date. But until then, I imagine I'll be talking about it every day.
Oh, yeah.
Nina, thank you very much. That's it for me for now.
That's exactly what I was writing down. 20th, we'll